In 2018, 66% of Americans over 18 drank alcohol, but only 14% of Indians drink alcohol and only 1% of Indian women do. Americans be like Bluto. Indians are like the tramp. Alcohol is banned in 4 states and 1 territory. In some places you need to get a permit to drink. On elections and some holidays, there's no alcohol sales. So is alcohol taboo in India? Well, it is much less popular than in the USA and other Western countries. Why is that? Well, in this video, we're gonna cover that very question. I'm also gonna cover a bit of the drinking culture here. So let's say you're a tourist and you're wanting to see India, but maybe you have a nice beverage that's a little bit alcoholic after a long day of seeing the beautiful sights.
Thanks. I needed that.
You'll learn all about that in this video right now.
This is a toast to you, my friends.
First off, if you're wanting to have an alcoholic drink while you're in India, you can probably find it almost wherever you are.
Vodka martini.
My mom and aunt came to visit. We traveled 3,600 miles around India. If you haven't watched that video, check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. But there were a few nights when we were at a nice restaurant and alcohol was on the menu, and they enjoyed it quite nicely. But here's what you won't find in India. You won't find a big long wine list with a bunch of fancy wines. Indians tend not to be wine connoisseurs, and only recently have some Indian wines started to get more popular.
I am not drinking any fucking Merlot!
You also won't find hipster microbrews. Well, maybe in Bangalore. It is the pub capital in India, and has a bunch of young professionals who probably are going out after a long day to grab a drink.
He's looking at you, kid.
But beer is less commonly drank. Only 12% of the alcohol drank in India is beer. 30% of the alcohol in India that's drank is just straight liquor. This is probably because alcohol is expensive here. Taxes and duties can be as much as 160% on foreign beverages. So another 30% of alcohol drank in India is country liquor. Desi Daru, Desi Shabu. This liquor is often made in villages, costs very little, and does the trick. However, beware that home-brewed liquor can sometimes cause blindness and also death. Now, there are some places in India where drinking and alcohol is very common. 40% of men in Delhi drink and 20% of women do. In Goa, 26% of people drink alcohol, and that's not even including the 8 million tourists that come to those beautiful beaches and resorts every year. Kerala, which is often thought of as one of the most beautiful states in India. If you're from another state, don't hate me. They drink more alcohol than any other state per person. But if you're in a super spiritual place, like in Varanasi, or even in the small city where I live, where there's a pilgrimage temple and there's a mountain and pilgrims come here to walk around that mountain, you're probably not going to see much alcohol. In fact, it's disrespectful to be too upfront or loud about getting alcohol. Varanasi in particular, some of the tourists that are coming there, this is like maybe the only time in their life they're going to come to this landmark, this place that is so special and important to their spirituality and their religion. So alcohol is the farthest thing from their mind, and it would actually reduce their experience if you were to have it in one of these places. But as I've lived in India for more than 2.5 years, I've read a bunch of papers and articles about alcohol here in India, and also in my experiences traveling, I've found 5 reasons why alcohol is more taboo than in other countries. The first reason is it goes against ancient Vedic principles. The Vedas are ancient spiritual literature that point people towards working towards attaining nirvana or moksha, and abstaining from sins and sensual pleasures. There are a number of passages in the Vedas that urge people to not be drinking so much. For instance, the Rig Veda says, those who consume intoxicants lose their intellect, talk rubbish, get naked, and fight each other. Alcohol might also be taboo because the founders of India wanted to prohibit it. In 1937, the Indian National Congress assumed power and prohibited alcohol. When the British resumed power, they revoked the law of prohibition. So it seems possible that alcohol became associated with British people at that time and therefore got a bad rap because the British didn't do some things that well, because the British had a bad rap. So in 1947, when India gained their independence, the Congress at that time made it up to each state whether they would outlaw alcohol or not, but they encouraged prohibition. Of course, Gandhi made 3 vows to his mother before coming to England. One of them was not to drink alcohol, and he considered this one of the most important vows of his life that he never broke.
Sense perceptions can be, and often are, false and deceptive.
And then some states like Maharashtra just make it tough for you to drink. You have to go get a permit, and the permit says, I hereby declare that I will continue to require foreign liquor and country liquor for preservation and maintenance of my health. Alcohol might also be taboo because it has caused significant problems for a lot of people. Now, I'm not going to go too into this because I bet you understand the negative effects of alcohol, but the small percentage of people in India that are drinking alcohol, there's a significant portion of them that have abused it and are having big problems because of it. The fourth reason is that the way people act on alcohol goes against the cultural values of most Indians. As I've been in India, it's so obvious how the Indian people and the people I've met love their family and put them first. Now, if you're drinking alcohol, it has a powerful effect, and that may come first in your life. You tend not to be humble, you tend not to be modest, you tend not to be kind, good to strangers, none of these things that seem very important to the Indian people I've met.
Hello.
Maybe just like Lloyd Christmas. And then finally, I had mentioned it before, but alcohol is expensive here. So for that reason alone, most people just don't do it. But like I said, if you're wanting to have a cocktail after a day of travels, you can find that pretty much anywhere. And India has some local varieties that are quite interesting. For instance, Toddy Kalu is a strong beverage made from sap and palm and coconut trees. Or Arak is made from grapevines that once came from Persia. For even more, head to ChaiNomad.com, and I put a link in the description below to this exact post. Just to be clear, I'm not making this video to encourage or support people drinking alcohol while they're in India. I've chosen not to, and I've had a great trip, one of the best of my life because of it. Although I have enjoyed some non-alcoholic beverages, they got a great selection of mocktails here. I like ordering some of the ginger beer, or they even have some of these like peach or cranberry beers, which it's not as sweet as a soda like cola, yet it's not as bitter as like a typical beer like a Kingfisher. It's nice, especially on the hot summer. The Three Sisters is my favorite. Two thumbs up. I included links to my favorites below if you want to get a delicious beverage. So, I hope this was helpful if you're interested in having a drink in your travels. Most restaurants and hotels that are catering to foreign tourists understand it's a part of your culture and will make it easy for you to find in most places. If you have questions, ask the typical people, someone at your hotel at the front desk, taxi guy, rickshaw guy. These guys are going to be able to help you out. If you like this video, please click that like button. That helps get my video out to more people so they can learn about beautiful India as well. And tune in next week for another video about this amazing country.